I remember I was like, man, this dude can't be all that. I was watching him warming up in the gym before the game. I was like, this dude ain't all that. And he came down and monkey dunked the shit out of some shit.
Hey, bro. Come on now.
Welcome back to the 2% Podcast. And with that, we back with the 2% Podcast. And we're back with the 2% Podcast.
And we're back. We're back 2%.
Why the hell you got these bright ass orange ass pants on, bro?
That's not how we're gonna start this episode.
Bro, I'm just like, what made you want to put these?
We just not gonna start this episode. That's just not how we're gonna start
like,
this
what
episode. Some people could pull it off, others can't. Y'all two can't pull it off, so just it's all right.
Yeah, so back to you not being fat and going back to
damn.
And you being slim, bro. Like, so you say you stopped eating.
So Grant Williams was my guy, great guy. So he just got a new chain with his logo on it.
Yeah.
And it looked like the Warner Brothers logo a little bit. And Marcus Smart walks into the locker room, sees his chain. Grant's like, not like parading his chain around, but he's like, look at this new chain I got. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I gave up 3 solo homers that game and 2 to the same guy. And I remember one of them hurt a little bit because those dudes are chanting overrated. I'm like, oh yeah. And I throw one and that pitch home run.
I get a text and I think like the 4th inning and it's from our charter provider. And they're no longer our charter provider, if that tells you any indication of where the story's going. But I get a text and they said, hey, this is so-and-so with so-and-so company. Just want to give you a heads up that your plane's going to be delayed. And so I'm thinking like, okay, like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever. They're like, it's going to be probably closer to like 3 hours.
So like guys are asking him about it, right? So then Marcus walks in, and Marcus has a bunch of chains. Yeah. So he walks in, and he sees Grant's chain, and he starts going in. Like he's like, what is this chain? Yeah, this chain ain't this chain worth like $2. He said, right. He was berating his chain, and then the part that sent me was, dude took his chain. He said, man, this is cheap. He said, I could bite through this motherfucker, and he bit it, and I was, rolling.
The disrespect.
It's like the orange pants. Not everyone's the same.
Thank you, Tony.
I ain't know.
That's why you my dog. Thank you.
That was good, by the way.
That was smooth.
That was good.
I think I was a junior, and I was like closing for us, and I think that I either blew a game or I did something, and he calls. I think we were in the clubhouse, and he's telling me, I don't really know if this is the right spot for you.
There was a basketball team that was flying ahead of us, and she probably shouldn't have gave me this detail, but she was like, so-and-so basketball team had too much baggage, so they had to unload the plane and like rescan the bags and like reload them to get work. And I was like, with all due respect, like, I don't really care. Leave that team in wherever the heck they are. I don't think you understand me. They won today. We're about to lose. Like,
this ain't gonna be a fun conversation. Brad, do you remember the group text that Corbs put us all in after that?
He's like, hold it. Like,
it was like the big ass group text, and he like clipped every bad play we had that game. And it was like me, you, Ethan, Julian, Scotty, Amar, Eater, and like each clip was like 10 seconds, but it was like 2 paragraphs of what we did wrong.
In a lot of ways, a lot of people would be better off just with no social media. It's a lot more simple. That being said, I do partake in social media. I have an Instagram, I have Twitter, I have all that stuff, but I try to take steps away from it, and I see all that, like the 9U stuff and kids posting their highlight videos at 11U baseball, and it's a little much, but I mean, everyone's different. So if it works for you, that's awesome.
So I call Corbs and I'm like, hey Corbs, I'm ready to commit. I want to officially commit to school, blah, blah, blah. Well, as I'm saying this, I did not know my sister had posted something on Facebook, like Ben committed to Vandy. So I'm still on the phone with Corbs, and I'm getting a call from like my local newspaper, the Boston Globe, and I'm like, oh my God, how do they know? I didn't say anything. And my sister comes walking back in the room and she's all, giddy because she still doesn't know what's going on.
Houston, we had one of those late games, finished like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And the bus was at 6.
And we were flying to Cali.
Flying to California, and we get a knock at the door. Pat DeMarco's my roommate. Get a boom, 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 like heavy knock. Like, bro, who is this? Pat's still asleep. I go up. I'm like, open the door, and then Goody comes rushing in. Just, what are you guys doing? Like, everybody's on the bus already. I'm like,
Captain Goodrum.
I'm like, bro, what you mean everybody on the bus?
He told Corbs he loved to sleep, which is true. The kid could fall asleep anywhere. One of our post-lift things as a pitcher that year, like we would sit down and a form of meditation, a form of focus. Like we would turn the lights out and let the guys just do the breathing. Right? In through the nose, out through the mouth. Everybody got up except him. He fell asleep in the weight room.
Disrespect.
Everybody got up, everybody left, and it was just me and McGarry. And I woke him up extremely loudly.
Tough to do. Playlist, dog. Pre-game playlist. Like, give me some songs that you gotta listen to.
Future.
I'm on Stay Down by Future right now.
That man love him some Future.
Bruh, I'm like sleeping my eye. He was like, you see the time? I'm like, oh, wake Pat up. You know what I mean? I packed last night. Pat was still packing his bag. We rushing. We get on the bus. Corb's sitting at the front right there, and it's like, dang, I gotta get on the bus. So
You're probably better off not getting on the bus.
I didn't want
booking
to.
your own flight at that point.
I was just doing it. And Corbs kind of kept chirping at me a little bit, like, what's the deal here? And he kind of kept going, and eventually I fielded one, and I turned to second. We were doing seconds, and I threw it as hard as I could. And I'm pretty sure I launched it into center field. And Corbs just let me have it.
Has your juice changed from college to now?
Like my mentality wise?
No.
What are you talking about?
Juice.
What you talking about?
Juice, nigga. I'm like, bro, I still got sleep in my eye, and so I walk in, had my head down, kind of just peek to the side, like that. And I just kept on walking. And Pat's smiling a little bit, cause he's like, dang, Pat just being Pat. But that was probably one of my scariest moments for sure.
And you're catching those eyes all.
Yeah, everybody looking at you and everything.
Coach Leggett asked me to go see this player who he had already seen, and he already had a number value in his mind for what he was going to offer the kid. But because I was new, he wanted my evaluation of him. So went off and saw this kid play, very gifted kid. But I got there early enough to where I could see this kid enter the dugout, communicate with his teammates. Well, as I sat there and watched him, I was right up next to the backstop. I could see that he wasn't integrating with his teammates early, and he was pretty much to himself. Second at bat, he was getting on deck circle. And at that point right there, I was right near the fence, and he looked up at his mom, who was sitting above me, and he just did this. He just went, need something to drink. And I guess the water in the dugout wasn't good enough. So anyway, she came down with a Gatorade, and she came down to the fence, and he just reached over the top of the fence. I remember the fence was probably about 7 feet high, and she reached over to and she gave it to him, and he took the cap off, drank it, and then he barely put the cap back on, and then he just dropped the Gatorade at her feet, and it hit the ground. She picked it up. I could tell she knew that she was being seen by everyone, so she acted embarrassed and then went back up. But he never said please, he never said thank you. Within minutes of that whole situation going down, I actually left, and I said that was it. Saw Coach Leggett in the office next morning. He said, what'd you think? I said, really talented, gonna play, and probably gonna play for a while. And he said, good, I thought you would see that. He goes, what number would you put on him? And I just went, 0. He says, come on, Corbs, how much you gonna put on him? I said, 0. He said, you really like him as a player? I said, I like him as a player. I said, but, and I told him the story, proceeded to tell him the story, and I said, if he can do that to his life teammate, I said, he can easily do that to you, and he's easily going to be able to do that to me. I said, you don't want this young man in our program. So he went on my instinct, which I thought for him was big at the time because I was new to the position. That kid ended up playing for a college team. He did well individually. The team never went to a regional while he was there. He was there for 3 years, got drafted high, left that program, ended up getting to the big leagues within 3 years, and in 7 big league years, played for 9 teams. And I said to myself, you know, what goes around comes around. I mean, those actions were in there. Those fibers were in there. And I think when it gets right down to it, the moral of the story is your character is just as important as anything that you do on the playing field.